Are you looking forward to those moments when you feel like you're right back in history?
That's what I'm looking forward to. Doing it in the clothes and get a feel of how, just a touch of how that might have been. We're going to have about 5 to 10 women. We're going to go out into the woods. We have a rendezvous point. We just don't know what's going to happen after that.
So Ellen, I hear you are headed out on a woods adventure. Tell me how this got started.
Oh, it's so exciting. I just started 18th century reenacting this season.
Okay.
So went to a few different forts, and the women just took me under their wing.
Okay.
So there was a little core group of women, and we sort of got together on a special Facebook page. And I was honored to be invited on this special all-woman trek.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know where you're going?
No.
No.
I don't know where we're going. I know when.
Okay.
First week of November, but I don't know where. That's part of the fun of it.
So you don't know where, do you know how long it's going to take? Do you know what you're going to be doing?
No.
This sounds like a big adventure.
It is going to be. We're going to be camping overnight, at least one night. I know that. And we'll be doing a lot of hiking.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I know. And so that's, to me, that's part of the intrigue of the whole
Did
thing.
they tell you what to bring?
No. So all I know is it's at least one night, and it might be at least hilly.
Oh, okay.
Maybe more steep than that.
Right.
So I know I have to bring overnight things, things to feed myself,
Right.
keep myself warm overnight, and if it's raining or maybe even snowing first week in November.
So you might bring too much, you might not bring enough.
This is where the anxiety comes in. Yes. I'm a very experienced modern day backpacker and camper, so I know how to do it with modern day equipment, which you count every ounce and you can have super lightweight items. Not so, I'm finding, in 18th century.
Nope. So let's take a look to see what you've got in your kit for this trip.
I'm excited to show you because I don't know if I got too much or too little.
Okay. So you've got a lot of kit here. Let's take a look at what you got.
I know, it's a lot because this is the delicate balancing act.
Right.
I've been freezing camping. I don't want to do that. So we got some things here. I have my bedroll.
Okay.
And on the outside here, I've got oilcloth.
Right. So it's waterproof-ish at least.
Waterproof-ish.
Yeah.
Or snowproof-ish even.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're definitely going to be warm. What have you got here in the kit?
We have this sheepskin here for padding,
Okay.
and I know I can sleep on leaves from camping before,
Sure.
but let's just see if I need this, if it's worth taking or not.
Yep.
And then I have a half blanket in case I need it for my shoulders or cold at night, and I
Right.
have my heavy blanket down there.
Right, look at that. It's a beautiful blanket.
That's right, and then I can wrap that around me like
Sure.
a sleeping bag, my sleeping moccasins, my sleeping hat.
Yes.
I have my sleeping socks,
Right.
and I have a sleeping shift here.
Okay.
And here I have an extra jacket just for warmth.
And leggings?
Oh, yes, and leggings, because I have camped in snow before. And it could happen in November.
Right.
So we'll see if I need to haul all this or not.
So and this, the oilcloth isn't just a covering, right? It's a tent.
That's right. It is a tent. It's my shelter. That's right.
So this is
It'll
like
be
a diamond fly kind of a
Yes,
thing, a
that's
square
right.
with loops on the corners. That sets you up for sleeping. What's in the rest of your pack?
This is all the real essential stuff.
Okay.
This is what's going to feed me, emergency kind of supplies. So I have my beautiful tomahawk.
Yeah.
So this beautiful tomahawk is made by Simeon England. I
yeah.
believe you have YouTube.
Oh yeah, he's on several different videos. He's a wonderful guy.
All right, that's right. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous tool. I have my fire starting kit.
Sure.
And all the
Got a lot of fire starting stuff there.
yeah. Well, that's the most
Got it.
important.
Yeah,
And if
you
you don't
gotta
get
have
it the
fire.
first time,
Yeah.
you get some more. I have my trencher
Your eating tray, sure.
here. I have my pans.
Okay. Got a little cooking pot
A
in
little
there.
cooking pot. Inside of that,
Sure.
I have my rice
Mhm.
and my cup
Beautiful.
and my tea.
There we got a good quantity of tea there.
That's
and
right.
inside there, there's a little trivet.
There's
to
a trivet
hold that
inside.
up out of the fire.
There's a
Sure. This kit is beautiful. Looks heavy though.
Yes, every ounce counts. That's right. So We'll see if I'm sorry or I'm glad.
There you go.
Yeah. I have my knife.
Must have.
Yes. A little bit of,
Just
enough to get me started on
You never know
something.
what you need cordage for.
I've got my salve, my medicinal salves.
Okay.
One is for mosquito bites.
I'm sure you won't have any problem with that.
No, not going to have any problem with that. And
Look at that frying pan.
Frying
Beautiful.
pan.
Good.
I have some cooking utensils. Knife,
Yeah.
fork, spoon,
Knife,
and
fork,
cooking.
spoon, yeah. Beautiful.
So again, not as light as modern backpacking
No,
utensils. And then I have my food, my little picnic.
Uh-huh.
So we are planning on hunting along the way. When we need meat, we're going to
Sure.
have the meat. So I didn't have to bring a lot. So this is just a starter. So I brought bread and
Yeah.
cheese, venison jerky,
A couple of eggs. You got to be careful with those.
Yes, apple.
Right?
So that's enough to get me started until we go fishing or hunting. And water.
You got your water. So what do you expect to get out of this trip?
Oh, well, I'd like to see how it can transition 21st century camping and backpacking and fun with friends to 18th century. So the clothes, doing it in the clothes, and get a feel of how, just a touch of how that might have been,
Right.
and with the equipment. So that's one thing I want to get out of it. The other is getting closer to some friends. You know, a group of women together, doing work together, holding
Right.
hands is very
Right.
powerful.
Sure.
And so I think that will be real enjoyable for those days too.
Are you looking forward to those moments when you feel like you're right back in history?
Yes, that's exactly. And just for a few minutes, that's what I, be going in and out, of course, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking forward to.
Wow.
Right. And
So-
I think we have a good start.
Yeah, a lot of marching and traveling through the woods, just like so you're not close to modern things at all.
That's right.
Wow.
Yes.
I
It's gonna
envy
be-
you. It sounds like a great trip.
Yes.
Can't wait to hear back about how it turns out.
Oh, I'm anxious to tell you.
Ellen, I am so excited to hear about how your trip went.
It was so fun.
Good. Go ahead, have a seat by this nice warm fire.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Tell me about the trip. Now, when we last talked, you didn't know exactly what was going on. Tell me a bit about
No.
the specifics and then the experience.
Yes. Well, you're right. I didn't know how long. I didn't know where. I didn't know if it was going to be strenuous or
Right.
easy. I didn't know anything. Well, it turns out it was sort of a practice run, which was perfect for me.
Yeah. You haven't done it before.
That's right. I hadn't done it before, and so we didn't go too far in. A couple miles in,
Okay.
hiking in, and then we just camped. So it was less of the hiking,
Right.
just enough to see if our
Right.
kits fit and if we were choking. So we got that all set. It was enough for that.
Good.
And then most of the rest of it was the camping part. And so I learned very, very much there.
How much time were you camping? Just a couple days?
One
or-
night,
Okay,
just one
good.
night, and I
Okay.
didn't know even when I started would be one or two.
Right.
So again, hard to prepare, but that made it fun.
Yeah, and it's
And-
typical that you would go into a situation not knowing, exactly what the time frame was like. So, tell me about the experience.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I learned a lot. There was 7 women. It was just a group of all women,
Okay.
and it was a learning experience for half of us. Half of us hadn't ever done anything like this before, and the other half had done reenacting trekking before.
Right.
There was me, who had just been doing reenacting for a few months, and some of the women had been doing it for decades. So it was just a wide range of ages and experience. It was great. We really did get, I think, some glimpses into how it might have been.
So you were trying to kind of go with this, not necessarily totally first-person experience, but definitely let's talk about historical things. Let's leave our modern life behind.
That's right, we did. And as it turned out, most of it was just survival talk. Who's going to get the firewood? How are we going to do that?
Yeah, when you're busy, it's easy to do.
That's
when you
right.
leave behind modern.
Right. So we didn't talk about any modern things.
Tell me about the sort of specific things you learned while you were experimenting.
from the very basic all the way up. Someone taught me how to make a fire, and so now, if pressed, I could make a fire, not as quickly as others, but I could do it. And how to tend one all night, how to set up a shelter, how to cook on the campfire without modern stoves and pans and things.
Yeah.
You know, just all these kind of survival things. How to keep warm.
Yeah.
Or how to try to keep warm.
So last time we talked, you had your kit. You weren't sure whether it was the right stuff or the wrong stuff. What did you have that you didn't need?
I really did agonize about it a lot. And what I found was, especially since there was the 7 of us, that we could have shared the heavy cooking equipment a little bit more. Each one of us brought our own set, and we could have talked about, oh, I'll bring a skillet. And even the eating utensils, I would cut down on what I brought. I brought a thick wooden plate. I think I would have brought either nothing to eat on and maybe found a piece of wood to eat on, or something smaller. But the kitchen kind of ware I would definitely cut back on. Right?
What about like blankets or other pieces?
Well, as it turned out, it was very cold. It got into the low 20s that night. And it didn't rain. It could have. It didn't snow. But it was very cold, and we were uncomfortable. I would have brought one more blanket, I think, even if it would have been more bulky.
Right.
Yeah, it would have been worth it.
So what was your MVP, your most valuable piece of equipment?
Oh, that's a tough one. All of it was survival gear, really. One of the gals brought an axe, and if she hadn't have brought that, we would have had much less firewood. But as far as what I brought, I think my knife and my blanket. I brought 1.5 blankets. I wish I had bought 2.5.
So we talked about what you were going to leave behind. On your next trip, what will you definitely take?
I would like just to leave it empty because that's a lot to carry around. Yeah. But I did find some things that I would take next time. Okay. And the ground was kind of wet, and so we had each brought an oilcloth as a shelter on top. And one of the gals and I got together and put one of ours on the floor and one of us on top, and so we were one who shared a shelter. Right. And if I had not had somebody to share with, I would have wanted to have 2. The ground really was wet, and it was very cold that night. Halfway through, I thought my shoulders were really hurting from the heaviest of the straps. Okay. And so I went back and I made these shoulder straps. And next time I go, this is definitely going to be useful.
Right. This will probably be useful for other things too.
Oh, you bet. We used them for pot holders. Right. And yeah, it was cold. And now I have a sleeping hat.
There we go.
Yes. I found that I didn't have enough things to string a shelter up. So next time I would bring more rope or leather.
Right, I was going to say, that seems like pretty heavy rope.
Yeah, this
Maybe
would be too much.
Some thin line.
Yeah, some combination of tying things down, tying things up, holding things up. I didn't have enough of assorted things of that. I did have wool leggings, and that was good for the trek part and searching for wood through the forest and things. You know, that really was essential. But for sleeping, now I have these
sewn together
wool socks. Wool socks. And so my toes were very cold. And somebody gave me a shawl. So that's also good as a layering during the day, and then at night,
flexible.
Put it around my head.
Right, use it for a lot of different things.
And just as another layering thing, I just have found myself on a trade blanket, a real heavy coat. And so again, when you're marching around, you get hot. But when you stop on a cold day like that, when it's in the 20s, you get cold quickly. So it's good to have layers.
What did you not have enough of?
Food.
Yeah?
I made a big mistake.
Yeah?
I didn't realize the calories consumed between the keeping warm and the hiking, and we were moving, we were doing stuff. So I underestimated how much food I'd need. And luckily, again, I was with 6 other women who did bring enough to share.
And provisions. Yeah. So Ellen, what would you tell other people who are interested in this kind of activity?
That it can be done. If someone like me, who's only been reenacting for a few months, can do this, anybody can do this. Yep. I'm not a spring chicken. I'm not experienced. Now I have an idea of what I will need, and so now I can slowly start making my own things or buying my own things. And so this can be done.
Ellen, thank you so much for sharing your experiences and your equipment list and all that kind of, everyone was going to find that helpful. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure to share it.
Great. And thank you guys for watching today. If you're interested in another video that has to do with a trekking kit like this, make sure to check out this video.